What's up, Tucson? It's your boy Chef Gary here, and we're on the good, the bad, and the salsa. We're gonna burn beef vegan's asshole today. We're gonna kick off with our salsa verde. Very, very traditional green salsa, tomatillos, a little bit of green onion, cilantro, a little bit of lime juice, very simple, very mild. Then we got our pickled taqueria salsa. So basically the same base, but we take pickled vegetables like you find at a taqueria and blend those down in there. This is our salsa picante. This is the original El Charro salsa. The spice levels come from chiltepin. This is gonna be our black magic right here. This is our seafood salsa. Probably 10 different chilies, soy sauce, magi, all that good stuff in there. Flavor bomb right there. This is our house salsa. Salsa rustico, our salsa quemada, oven roasted, grilled vegetables, chiltepin, jalapenos, Anaheims, onions, all that good stuff in there. This is our Vita salsa. This is gonna be our habanero turmeric, fresh habaneros, turmeric, a little bit of vinegar, absolutely amazing. And this right here, this is my baby. This is our salsa padre. So we use our salsa rustico base, and then we spice it up with chiltepins, a little bit of pico de gallo, jalapenos, and a little secret ingredient, which I can't tell you.
Welcome back to another edition of the good, the bad, the salsa. My guest, good friend of the show, is Chef Gary Hickey. And we're
What's up, beef?
We're at the El Charro Steak, right?
Steakhouse. Today's actually our 7th birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the April 5th is the 7th anniversary of this? I do remember when this opened up.
Yep.
What was the initial idea? Because it's Flores family concepts, right? There's
right.
several Charro properties. But what was the initial idea going into Charro Steak?
So, when we actually took over this property, we didn't have anything in mind for it. And then in searching, Ray found that there was a El Charro up in Casa Grande that was an offshoot of the original Tia Monica's. It was one of her cousins.
Yeah.
And they had steak on the menu. Me being a butcher by trade, hey, let's open up a Mexican steakhouse. So we kind of opened up a very traditional steakhouse, but everything we did, we put a little Charro twist on it. So we grill all of our meats on mesquite, all grass-fed steaks, just how they were back in the 1900s,
Nice.
and all that stuff. So, and it's just been a wild ride, and thank Tucson very much for loving us and keeping us going.
Well, yeah, this was actually one of the center points for during pandemic. You know, one of the first restaurants here locally that was just providing meals to people just to pick up and buy, just basically wholesale,
right,
to kind of keep revenue going in. And now it's also Del Rey. So you expanded it to be steak and seafood.
Steak and seafood.
I mean, on the front window, it says lobster and carne asada.
Yep.
Which is
What? Can't get any better than that.
No, you can't. So, okay, we got, what's it look like?
We got a ton of salsas here.
Yeah, is that 6 total? 7?
I think it's 7.
Okay, lucky number 7.
7th anniversary, 7 salsas.
That makes sense.
7 little chipmunks sitting on a ranch.
Did you just make all these today in-house?
No. The longer they sit, the more flavor they're going to have. They'll be more well-rounded. So these got a couple days on them.
What's the average that you like to have your salsa sit for before you serve them?
If it's not being fermented, I like to go at least 72 hours.
Okay.
Let those flavors meld, kind of marry and wish-wash around in there. So.
Nice. All right, well, here's the concept. We're gonna go salsa by salsa. I'm gonna ask you different questions, not necessarily about the salsa, a little bit about the salsa. I'm gonna try not to drink water throughout this entire one.
Okay.
And let's start off with the most mild, the verde that you got down here.
Salsa verde.
Okay, and then you have 2 versions of this.
Yeah.
And you got pork rind, in-house pork rind?
Yep, in-house chicharrones.
Chicharrones, yes. Is that just Spanish for pork rind?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah. Are you gonna try this too, or?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's going to be very mild.
And is this jalapeno based? No.
Tomatillo.
Mm-hmm.
Tomatillo, green onions, garlic, lime juice, cilantro.
Mm-hmm. Right off the bat, the lime jumps right out.
Yep.
Got a little kick, and then the onion too. It's a good onion flavor, which I like big chunks of onion.
Yeah.
And my verde was really good. Now, what started you? How did you start in the culinary world, right? Because you're a chef now, but
Right.
everyone starts somewhere.
Somewhere.
Did you start at school?
I did not. I actually, there was this old Greek restaurant on University called Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a Greek mafioso front. Like there was never anybody in there.
Yeah.
I got a job in there working under the table when I was like 15, washing dishes, and they'd send me home with Euro and hummus, just like whatever. It was just a total mafioso. They were laundering so much money through that place. And from there, I got a job at this Tucson staple of restaurants called Keaton's in the Foothills. It was there forever, and that's kind of where I started finding that like you can manipulate food, and food was more than just like sustenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went for your way from the dishwasher to what, sous chef? And
Yeah, I was a line cook for years. Prep cook, line cook. I guess my big break was I was a prep cook, and the saute brunch cook got arrested the night before Sunday brunch, and my kitchen manager was like, "Hey, you know how to cook eggs?" And I lied. I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it. Like, whatever." I got my ass handed to me on Sunday brunch up there. I mean, we do 500 covers easy. Like, and I just got worked. It was terrible. It was the worst thing ever. But then I was like, oh, I want to be a saute cook. So then that's all I did was like start working saute, and I just got my skills up with saute, and then moved to the broiler, and then grill cook, and then just started anything anybody could like teach me. I was like, oh, how do you do that? How do you break down salmon? Let me do that. How do you make this bread? Let's make this bread together. Oh, let me break down this tenderloin for you. And, you know, there's just trial and error, and finally you get to the point where you're like, oh, come here, let me show you how to do this. So that's kind of how it is.
It's just a passion for learning.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult egg to make? Starting off as a sous chef, right? Is it like the over easy egg? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the over easy egg or a French omelet, I mean, is impossible. If you've never made one before,
no, I haven't.
It's impossible.
I remember working at a diner, and it was one of those 24-hour diners, and I'm in the back doing graveyard cooking, and a girl ordered these over easy eggs, and for whatever reason, I'm trying to do it so delicately, and she's watching me, so I was even nervous. So I mean, it's as simple as eggs sound. To make eggs on order to somebody in a restaurant,
impossible.
It's a whole nother beast.
Especially if you've never done it before, like you're just like totally like making up a story. Like, yeah, I've cooked eggs forever.
Well, because you would assume, like, I made scrambled eggs. I can do eggs.
Scrambled eggs. Yeah, let's do it.
Right. All right. I do want to try another bite of this, but I'm going to move this aside. Let's move on to the next one because I want to move into the next question. So this looks like a verde as well. But
this is a verde. So this is going to be our salsa verde base. But this is our taqueria salsa. So like if you go to like a taqueria in town, they have like pickled onions, pickled jalapenos, pickled carrots, all that stuff. That's like the salsa bar, all that pickled stuff. What we do is we pickle all those vegetables, and then we blend them into the salsa verde.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's got kind of a little bit more like vinegar taste. Really good with like carne asada tacos or anything like that. It's going to just cut through the fat. Right,
especially if people go and get carne asada tacos and load up their tacos with all the pickled vegetables that they have at the salsa bar.
So this is kind of a little shortcut.
Nice. Yeah, and even vinegar kind of makes it like a little sweeter too. Yeah.
It definitely pulls out the sweetness of the carrots.
Right. Nice. Yeah, both of your verdes are like out of this world. I got to do another bite real quick.
Do it.
Yeah. Which leads me to this question has nothing to do with verdes, but you've been working kitchens your whole life. How many different styles of foods, like restaurants? Because now you're El Charro, Si Charro is, obviously Sonoran based. But I know that you mentioned the Greek restaurant.
Right.
Didn't you work at like P.F. Chang's for a little bit?
I worked at P.F. Chang's for a long time, yeah.
So all the different like genres of food, how many different genres?
I think the only thing I really haven't ever really like delved really deep into is probably Italian or barbecue. I mean, I've done everything else: American, French, Chinese. I guess Japanese. I haven't done sushi.
Okay.
So those three.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sushi's actually not that hard. You roll kind of like a big blunt.
I'm sure those guys that train for like 30 years would disagree with you. Like they don't get to touch rice for like the first 5 years they work in the sushi restaurant.
If you're that expert, but I know a lot of American stoners who became excellent sushi rollers. So they were kind of like a duck to water in that way. They're like, oh, I've been doing this since high school.
That's actually my wife's brother worked at Mr. On's, and he was a sushi apprentice for years. And then when he finally made it to the line.
So they took it that seriously so he had to do a bunch of different things.
But he was rolling blunts his whole life, so.
Right, yeah. And he was just like, I don't even need this bamboo thing. That's like $1 bill. I'll just do it freehand. That's the way I did it at Samurai Sam. So I almost licked it. I was so comfortable in doing that. Was there working your way up? You mentioned your brother-in-law kind of paying his dues.
Right.
Did you have to pay dues?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
give me an example.
I mean, working late nights, all that stuff. Just, working under famous chefs and like having to like, do all the schlep work. And then,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, but I never really kind of got away from that. I still get my hands dirty every day. And, I never let go of that aspect of, hey, I came from nothing. I'm not going to take advantage of it. So,
right. Yeah. Well, Anthony Bourdain said famously, there's two types of people, right? There's people that love the chaos of the kitchen, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah,
right.
That's me. I would do when it's busy, when this restaurant's like jamming, and we're just struggling to get food out, and I'm all over the place. There's a line out the front door. It's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
You just love the stress. You love it, getting in the muck.
I love it. Yeah. Or like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I didn't place the produce order, or I didn't do this, or like it happened this morning. I was just like woke up quick. I was like, I was like, it's Wednesday. All I got today is beef. Cool.
Yeah. All I gotta do is salsa.
Yeah, all I gotta do is salsa.
Speaking of salsa, let's go to this traditional red. So
this is our salsa picante. This is a very traditional tomato-based salsa.
Right.
Jalapenos. Green chilies, and then chiltepine is kind of the spice. So this is the original.
Now you mentioned the chiltepine, we were talking with Chef Maria Maison of Boca as well. She has chiltepine, and that's a Sonoran. It's basically that's the difference between salsas from other regions in the country. And
essentially, I mean, we obviously pound for pound, it packs a bigger punch than most other chilies. I mean.
If I ate one by itself, is that why
we can save it till the end?
Okay, is that okay.
You'll blow out your palate.
all right, that's fair enough. So traditional red,
I mean,
jalapeno based, tomato based.
Yeah, this is the El Charro salsa.
Okay,
so if you go,
the famous is this a recipe that's been around for 100 years?
Yep. So nice. A little bit of Mexican oregano in there.
Cilantro, or no, real oregano.
Oregano.
It's Mexican oregano.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't even know there was a Mexican oregano. And that's just grown in the Sonoran Desert?
It's about $40 less a pound.
No.
Just kidding.
No. I was like, that tastes like profit margin. But this is Mexican oregano, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can taste it.
It's more herbaceous. Like, you can definitely get it on the back of your palate. Lingers a little bit longer than Italian oregano.
Yeah, this is a famous sauce. Are they ever planning on bottling and selling it? Or
we sell it at the stores, but not in retail. Trying to get into retail is a nightmare.
Right.
You got to know someone who knows someone.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been working for the Flores family?
I'll be going on my 10th year this year. But my old steakhouse, we shared offices.
Oh.
So I'd see Ray, the president of the company. I'd see Ray in the hallway all the time, and he'd be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or if this happened, how would you handle that? Or whatever. So it was like a fucking 10-year job interview.
Yeah.
And then
just testing you out. Just gotta see where your head was at.
Yeah, absolutely. The family's great. I've been eating at the restaurant. I actually, when I was in high school, I used to live on court. Yeah. There was this like, they're still there. It's this crazy like triplex of adobes that they just like put walls in the middle. And the one that we were in was on the end. So it was basically two rooms. There was the front room and the back room. And the back room had the kitchen in it. But when they divided up the adobe, the bathroom was in the far one.
Yeah.
So they built this like bathroom outside, but it was just like a wet room. It had a toilet and then a shower. And it was just like and you just pull the shower curtain around, but it was all just one room. There's no like bathtub or anything.
Yeah.
It was just like, you could have just murdered somebody in there. It's crazy. But we used to like walk outside in the winter to go take a shower or whatever we had to do. We had to go outside. It was just, there's three of us that lived in this little adobe thing. Yeah, it was crazy times.
How long did you live there?
Oh, a little over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just toughened you up even more so. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, as a chef, you have to be kind of like desensitized to the elements, right? So cold and heat. Even in the movie, that HBO movie, like The Menu or that food movie, how they just grab something that's like super hot. I mean,
it's not really like that, but I mean, we definitely have chef hands where we can, our skin doesn't cut as easily, if that makes sense. Or, I can pick up a hot pan if it's not like crazy hot. One of my line cooks was cleaning the grill the other day and left one of the things on, and I had accidentally touched it and burnt myself. I was like,
Right, yeah, that still happens all the time,
Yeah.
right? Just a casualty of war.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the next salsa. So this is traditional red,
Yeah.
El Charro.
Yeah, I mean, that's very...
Without revealing the menu, is it just basic ingredients? Is it pretty simple? Because
easy.
Yeah. Now, what is this brown concoction?
This is going to be our black magic. So this is kind of our seafood salsa.
Oh, okay, nice.
So my 10 different chilies in there. It's got a soy sauce base, a little bit of Maggi, which is kind of like a Hispanic, a Nana's little secret. It's called browning seasoning in the rest of the world, but most Hispanic homes use it for the base of whatever. So that one's going to be a little bit on the salty side. So you might want to try a chip with that, but it's up to you.
Okay.
Just I don't want to.
Right. Let me try it out real quick because I'm glad there's soy sauce in this because that reminds me of the question I want to ask you here.
So on ceviches, oysters, shrimp,
I would love that on oysters, big time. It's tart, Yeah. So you haven't done Italian food before, but there's so many similarities in Mexican culture and Italian culture when it comes to cuisine. But you have done like American Chinese. What are some of the similarities of, say, like a Chinese food and Mexican food, or are there any?
I mean, there is. And it all kind of goes back to like the history of them making their food because they'd have the cheapest cuts of meat. So, with us, it's carne seca, right? With Mongolians who kind of started the whole cuisine movement, they would, before the cows, they would use horse meat and they'd put it under their saddles.
Right.
So while they're riding all day, it tenderizes the meat.
Oh, so they're eating ass meat, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're out there building the wall. You got to eat something.
Yeah. Mongolians, the original ass eaters.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be proud of us today because we brought it back in big fashion.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm the only one. I got the brown sauce.
The original ass eaters.
Oh, my apologies to any Mongolians out there.
I think we're good.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right, let's go into the next one because I want to continue to talk. So what is this?
So this is our house salsa for Charro Steak. This is our salsa rustico or salsa quemada.
Okay. Now you have the house salsa for each of the concepts?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then that one was the El Charro,
Charro Vida,
Charvita,
Charro Steak, Barrio Charro. And this is like our house. This is a secret sauce when people ask for it. So
nice.
So a metric ton of vegetables get grilled off until they're black, and then they all get mixed up with jalapenos and
that's why it's so dark. It's because it's charring. And what are some of the vegetables that you're using?
Anaheim chilies, jalapenos, onions, tomatoes. That's about it. A little bit of cilantro and some chiltepine in there to brighten it up. Yeah.
Right. What would you rate this scale of 1 to 10 as far as spice?
Spice, probably a 7.
Yeah, 7 because it's house salsa.
Yeah,
right?
it's a 7.
Yeah. Well, you ever get anyone in the restaurant eat the salsa and complain that it's too hot?
No, not too hot. They always want to spice it up. What we'll do is, and depending on how nice they are about it, we'll just crush up some chiltepines and mix it in. And depending on how nice they are about it, we'll crush up a lot of chiltepines and mix them in.
So really, the people actually come in and say, you need to make it hotter?
Yeah, they'll say, hey, can I get a hotter salsa? Or, we don't get a lot of mild.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, in this region, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, let me try this.
This is probably one of my favorites because it's got this like sweet smokiness and then it's got that bite on the back end.
Well, the last one was, or the El Charro one has been a family recipe forever. Did you come up with this recipe?
Yeah. It's like my favorite on eggs.
Oh, yeah, this would be great with eggs.
Yeah.
Good breakfast salsa for sure. Let me get some of this. Do you have this at the Monica as well?
No.
Now,
oddly enough, Monica doesn't have a salsa.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, I know they want to expand their empire and have different influences. How much say and influence do you have on creating menus for each different concept?
Oh yeah, no. Ray and myself and Chef Danny, we kind of just lock ourselves in a room and put a million ideas on a whiteboard and just start whittling away at them.
That's got to be fun.
And then we get a basic idea of what we want to do, and then we go to R&D, and then we start trying to see if they're actually feasible. Because something that's in a magazine might look cool, but you're not going to be able to replicate it 100 times
right, yeah,
on the line.
So that's the biggest deal, right? So if you come up with something, you're like, hey, this concept is going to be great, it's delicious, but as far as like it being able to crank out in a reasonable amount of time,
100%.
yeah. What's in like the dish that you thought was just great, but you knew it was going to be too much of a hassle to be able to put on the menu?
We actually had one that actually made it on the menu, and it was for Charro Vita, and it was our the Vita carrots.
The Vita carrots, okay.
Yeah, and I mean,
just the carrots?
Yeah, it's just carrots, but it was a lot of love that went into them, and I still get messages about the carrots,
right?
But they just could not execute them in a busy.
So were they heated? Was it the prep that took so long, or that?
It was a start to finish. It was probably a 24-hour prep. You know, you prep them the day before,
right?
And then they'd have to sit to let the starches release and whatnot. And then then they went back and got roasted again. And then we did this like Greek yogurt or Mediterranean yogurt spread, and like this turmeric oil and pomegranates and feta cheese. Like they were amazing, but they were just time consuming, and we couldn't. When we open a restaurant, it's always just like gangbusters,
right?
And I remember we opened up Vita. It was kind of crazy because we called them the Irish twins. So we opened up Charro Del Rey, and then like 8 months later we opened up Charro Vita,
right?
And it was just like happen. So like I left town, I went to Mexico. Not as soon as we got open, but about a month after we got open, and I was in Mexico, and I got the text message like, "We're changing the menu." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I got it." No worries.
That's for Vita, and
that was for Vita
because it just wasn't expediting quick enough.
Yeah, it was just hard for them to execute what the idea was, and I mean, and it was a million miles away from what Tucson was ready for. It was Mexican Mediterranean. So yeah, we found out that like in this little region of Spain where the healthiest people live is because of their diet.
Yes.
And in that region, there was a little town where everybody that lived there were called charros.
Yeah.
So we went and I basically studied all their dietary stuff, everything that they eat daily, what their intake was, and all that stuff. And then we kind of created a menu around it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was heavy fish, heavy proteins, heavy seeds, heavy nuts and oils. Like it was awesome menu for what it was. And I mean, like if that would have opened up in San Diego or like in Hollywood, it would have just been like gangbusters.
Right.
So I just don't think Tucson was ready for it. And then the pandemic happened, and then we shifted again, and now it's landed to where it's like this huge cult like favorite. Like people just love that restaurant. So we start everything there now. We start everything plant-based, and you have the option of adding protein, which is crazy because we sell more salmon and carne asada at that restaurant than we do at almost any of our other restaurants.
So, well, that's what it is. It's husbands and wives going out, and the wives are eating.
Yeah, exactly.
And the husband's like, throw some protein on that bitch.
Yep, 100%.
All right, let's go on to the next one. This next one is interesting to me because it kind of looks like a hollandaise sauce, right? It's yellow and.
So this is our habanero turmeric.
Okay, habanero, yeah.
This one started up at Vita, and then it kind of found its home at Barrio Charro, which you love the sandwiches there.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's kind of one of those taqueria style salsas that you can just kind of like put a little bit on a sandwich and just liven it up a little bit. So it's one of my favorites, just the flavor profile, and this on the Poet's Plant at Barrio Charro is probably one of my favorite combinations.
Poet's Plant is a fantastic sandwich as well. I love that. I know it's not mustard based at all, but it tastes like mustard. Yeah,
it's a turmeric.
Oh, because it looks like mustard, and it has that kind of like mustard feel, but with spice. And this would be great on a hot dog too. It
would be good on a hot dog.
Yeah, and it's a little sweet too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a little bit of both.
That's from the habaneros. So habaneros are indicatively sweet until you get the capsaicin. If you ever bite into like a fresh habanero, it's fruity. Yeah, on your palate. So
and then you get the seeds and
then you're done.
Yeah, Barrio Charro is one of my favorite concepts of the Flores family because it takes Barrio bread, mix it in, and creates these fantastic sandwiches. Also good brunch.
Yeah.
How fun was making that menu together, and was the combination Barrio Bread and El Charro, like just years in the making. Like it was, like they knew they were going to work together, wanted to work together before it happened.
You would think it was that easy.
Right.
It doesn't just make up, oh, here's this and put it on that.
Right.
But there's a lot of R&D that went into it. We had to make our own bread there that was, signed off by Barrio that, hey, this is okay, that this is
our quality.
Right. And like once we found the torta mano, the sandwich bread, that little torta that we figured out the recipe for that, it's kind of when it started all clicking.
Yeah.
And then we made the focaccia. The focaccia is obviously bomb.
Yep.
And now we're doing some other cool stuff over there.
What's some of the new stuff you're doing?
We're doing this like country style white bread and then the 7 seeds bread. That we actually do the 7 seeds at Monica, but the country style white is just like if you can imagine a really, really good Wonder Bread.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
But with all pure ingredients, no preservatives.
All heritage grains, all that good stuff.
How long does it last before it starts molding over?
If we refrigerate it, you can get about a week out of it.
Okay.
But if it sits out, it's done in 24 hours.
Right. Yeah.
It starts turning into hooch.
Yes, but that's good though. That's quality stuff. What's your favorite sandwich on the menu there, Barrio?
I like the Armando's Asada. I love the Poet's Plant.
I've had that several times.
Yeah, actually, and next time you go, if you get the Poet's Plant, add grilled chicken. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's good. I know that my daughter loves Poet's Plant as well, but I'll definitely add the chicken. It also has great chilaquiles and those mini chimichangas.
I was going to do some minis first to dip salsa.
Oh, that would have been fantastic. I know. That's all right. Next time. But, those mini chimis are great with the queso that you got and the red sauce, and it's almost like red, white, and blue, but it's not. Yeah. What's the third sauce? It's the green. The green bread,
the banderas,
Yeah. Sometimes, don't tell my girlfriend this, right? Because, I'm kind of like on a strict diet sometimes. But if I'm driving by and I just want like a little snack, I'll pop in, just get some chimmies, eat them real quick, throw it out, throw the trash outside, like never get caught. But they're that good.
She doesn't watch any of your content, does she?
Well, we're about 25 minutes in, so no. She might watch this one, though. She's a big fan of yours. All right, what is this one?
So this is our salsa padre. This is kind of this has got a cult following. This was on the menu when we first opened with the chicharrones.
Okay.
Now the chicharrones come with our lobster fundido, but people still come in and ask for this. It's the rustico base.
Okay.
And then we bulk it up with tomatoes, onions, fresh jalapenos, more chiltepine, and then kind of a secret ingredient that I can't tell you. See if you can figure it out.
All right.
But this salsa is so good with the chicharrones.
Nice. Well, I've been eating chicharrones with everything, and so far all the sauce has been great. Like each very like bright and impactful flavors, but it hasn't been overbearingly spicy, which is good as well. I'm gonna get a big chunk of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stick my finger in it. Don't worry, it's clean-ish.
That one's got some heat on it.
What is that?
It's awesome, right?
Yes. I want to say ginger.
Nope.
That's really good. And normally, so this comes with the chicharrones.
They used to, yeah. We used to have this as an appetizer on the menu.
Okay, just with this salsa right there. What the fuck is that? It's not ginger. It's in. Is it Asian based as well?
No.
You want to tell me?
Maybe off camera.
Okay, tell me off camera. That's very good. Yeah.
I love. The best part is because we don't make it, like it's never like on the station.
Yeah.
So only when people order it, and I'll just make a big batch because I'll just sit there and eat with the chips. It's like my favorite. It's like a little meal kind of salsa,
It's chunky. I got big tomato chunks in there. I can see why you could just snack on this for days.
Mm-hmm.
A couple questions. We'll wrap this up. When you go to a Mexican restaurant, right, for the first time, what is the first thing on the menu you're going to order to see how good they are? Because I know you judge them.
I guess kind of depends on the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
There's a ton of different restaurants in town. If you're going to go to a carnitas restaurant, you're going to get the head, you're going to get the whole cabeza.
Yeah.
And see how good that is.
Right.
if you're going to a taco shop, you got to get quesadilla tacos.
Yeah,
and nobody holds a candle to Juan, so it doesn't even matter.
Right. Yeah. Shout out Risco.
Shout out Tucker Risco. And then I'll always just simply get some enchiladas. See how good their enchilada sauces are.
Does the color of cheese matter to you for the enchiladas, or yellow cheese is the way to go?
I mean, yellow cheese is more traditional.
Yeah, for the enchiladas.
Yeah.
Red sauce, green sauce.
I like mine Christmas. I did a little stint in New Mexico.
Okay.
So that still kind of lives with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with all the concepts that the Flores family has, they're really covering all bases. You got your traditional Mexican, Sonoran Mexican. You got your lifestyle, healthy eating, and Vita. You got the hybrid of the torta, extreme of Barrio Charro. You got the Monica for just a whole different. That's almost like an American menu. Would you consider that?
Not necessarily. The idea was behind the Monica was if you ever went over to Tia Monica's house, she always had stuff cooking. She always had something to eat.
Yeah.
So we did the pantry. So there's just always stuff, like no matter what time of day, there's just something to come in and you can grab something to eat if you're hungry. Yeah. And that's kind of what Monica's philosophy was. So we really, really wanted to, expand that. And, that project took us so long. I mean, it was like almost 6 years with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be the entire bottom floor.
Oh.
There's actually right above the Monica bar upstairs in the second floor. It's actually the infrastructure that Hexagon drywalled over it, but there's the infrastructure for a 6-lane bowling alley up there. Oh. It was all set. So it was supposed to be 2 floors. We're going to have a big circular bar in the middle on the second floor. If you're ever walking down Congress, look up the second floor. You'll see that the floor comes out longer because that was supposed to be a deck patio for the bar.
Yeah.
And it's got these huge 14, 15 foot sliding glass windows.
Yeah.
That never got used. And that's why there's all of those garage doors everywhere, because there's going to be 16 independent operators, and there's going to be a food court. It's going to be called City Hall.
Oh, wow.
And slowly but surely, Hexagon just started taking more of the building. Well, they're paying rent, so why wouldn't they just give it to them?
Right.
So the bowling alley was first to go. We were like, okay, well, the bowling alley was just kind of a kitschy thing because it was back, what was that, 2018, 19?
Yeah.
That bowling alleys were making a resurgence, especially up in Phoenix. They were kind of in the punch bowl socials and all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It was kind of hip to do that. But pre-COVID, now you're sticking your fingers in those balls.
So it just slowly started getting cut down and cut down and cut down. And then it kind of landed right there on the end cap. And, we were like, they were like, well, you guys, like the developers were like, are you guys going to do anything with it? We really need to figure out what we're going to do with it. So we thought long and hard. We didn't know if we were going to do another concept. And then finally raised, I think I want to do something that's like an homage to Monica, because since 1922, we're opening, on the 100th year, let's do something for her. So, and it went through a lot of menu. There was a lot of menu meetings and a lot of torn pieces of magazine paper on the floor. And, we finally landed with what it is and adapted. I mean, that's basically our company's motto is adapt.
Right.
And we were told the developers, yes, we want it. We just don't know what we want yet.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you need to buy all the equipment and outfit it. So what do you want? And we were like, just build a hotel kitchen. So they built a hotel kitchen in there. So we got a pizza oven. We didn't expect to have the pizza oven. And we got, these rationales and all this stuff, and everything just kind of went in there. So then we kind of went in and retrofitted the menu to, okay, this is what we can do out of here. This is what we can do out of here. So that's kind of how Monica happened. So they're all just breathing, living organisms, and they just change all the time depending on, availability of product or, the biggest thing is, the staff is the staff buying into the concept, you know what I mean? And that's why we try to do everything with a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we try to follow that up with, this is like this because.
Yeah.
So
I love that. And I think the takeaway for any restaurateurs who may potentially watch this is to be able to adapt and evolve or die,
Yeah,
so
100%.
And you go in with an original concept and it evolves into something that you didn't even imagine, but somehow better,
right.
So I think that's fantastic to learn about that. Before we try these chicharrones, well, this is a green one. What is it? It's green chicharron?
Chiltepines.
Chiltepines.
So these are pickled chiltepines. And these
chicharron is this?
Yeah. And then these are the dried chilies that would be harvested and dried. So they come off the vine looking like that.
Okay.
These actually
eat them right off the vine?
You can.
You can.
You can.
Okay.
Are
Super spicy.
you doing it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. No, I don't recommend that.
No, I get. It's pickled.
It is pickled. Yeah, it pops a little bit. You know what? No, it's in my throat.
It's in your throat.
I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. Oh, wait. Oh. And then you got the dried ones, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you normally do the dried version or
The dried version.
And that's what makes it hotter.
Did you bite it or did you put the whole thing in your mouth?
Did both. Did I do it wrong? All right, am I in trouble?
You'll be fine.
Too.
The cool thing about chilta beans is it's like a high intensity heat,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just kind of goes away.
Yeah, that's good. Kind of like a flash.
Yeah,
That's good because I'm feeling the flash right
feel
now.
it back of your neck a little cold.
Yeah, a little bit. Which again, I told this to another chef, but I heard this a while back that the closer you get to the equator, the spicier the food gets.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if you were the one that told me this initially.
that wasn't me.
Well, the reason being is because obviously it gets hotter as you get closer to the equator. So the food's getting spicier, not because to match the temperature, but to make you sweat, cool you down.
Yeah.
So like it's an evolutionary thing. So that's why a lot of traditional food get closer to the equator. You're just going to have spicier experiences. And yeah.
I learned something today.
Oh, I'm glad.
And the more you know.
That's right. I learned a lot today. So I appreciate you sitting down with me, Chef Gary Hickey from El Charro Concepts. Coming up, going into the future, now you have like 6-7 restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Flores family looking to do next? Do they know? Or
we're always looking for great opportunities. The Monica was like the first actual build out in years,
right?
Since Cervezas, that we didn't go in and take an existing space. This was a restaurant before. Barrio Charro was a restaurant before. Charro Vida was a restaurant before. Charro Del Rey was a restaurant before. So we kind of went into these existing spaces and tried to like adapt and see what we could do to make it. Come on in, Dale.
Yeah.
We're looking at expanding, possibly Phoenix. We've had some investors approach us about California. It's really hard though. How do you do that?
And then be there. Yeah. You have to be all over the place in many places at once. I'm going to have to break my streak.
Oh no.
This is so hot. I'm like, cool story, Gary. Shut the fuck up. I'm on fire right now. Well, if anything, learns the team that you guys got together, with Flores, family Ray Flores, and hiring you is obviously one of the best things. And the way that you guys work together, come together with these concepts, I'd be a fool to think that massive successful expansion is not a possibility,
right,
if wanted. And to be able to bring this great flavor of the Sonoran Desert and Arizona and the Southwest to the masses is something that's desperately needed. So
cool, man. Appreciate it.
Good luck. I would string together more words, but honestly,
you're dying.
My tongue is on fire right now, dude. I had too many of those balls. I was just like, I got this. Everything else has been like cakewalk.
Too many balls in your mouth.
Too many. I did 2, and you should never do 2. Only do 1.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, but that was the good, the bad, the salsa. Chef Gary Hickey, everybody. Thank you. My butthole's gonna hate you tomorrow. Again.
Light it up.